Hello there, welcome back to my channel. So today we will be looking at the subject, who is vulnerable to cults? Right, who is vulnerable to cults? Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to screenshot what I'm actually reading this from, and that is the book called Stolen Minds, Understanding Cults. I'm going to screenshot it from I have it on a PDF file on my phone, so I'm going to screenshot it and post it on the screen as usual, and then we'll talk about it, right? And as you can see, this is a very sad subject, you understand, because there is not much to say here, but nevertheless I think it is imperative for you to understand those who are most vulnerable to cults. That way we can factor what I would call a preventative kind of measure, right? So that persons don't get ensnared in these groups. You understand now? With that being said, have a look at the pictures. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to do something different. Rather than reading out these things that I just showed you, I'm going to just expound on them. Now in a nutshell, all of this can be summarized in one word: help. Right? It can be summarized in one word, and that is help. Most of us, when we are in particular situations and so forth, if I should guess, I would say perhaps 60, 70 or 70%, or in fact more, most of us actually come to Christ when we are in a crisis. You understand? Let me repeat that. Most of us come to Christ when we are in a crisis. When I recommit, when I had backslidden, it's because I was going through so many things in my life, and I felt because I had turned from Christ is the reason why all of these things have been happening to me. Right? So this is the reason why I had actually recommit and came back in the church that I was actually in. You know, that Seventh-day Adventist, right? So because of the things that I was going through, I figured to myself, I need to come back to God, and He can solve my problems. And so it is for many of us. And while I'm not saying that that is wrong, because we should turn to Christ, you understand, and not just for help, even though many of us do it, but whatever the circumstances, as long as you find Christ, even if it is that you go and turn to Him to help, it's better you do that, and you understand, and have your soul saved, rather than you just reject Christ and you just go on like that every single day of your life until you end up a lost soul. But the problem with that is that while we are seeking help, we are not thinking, it doesn't occur to us, right, that we are vulnerable, and that because of this we are prone to get ourselves in some system that may appear as though it is something good, when in fact it is not, simply because we are so desperate for help. You understand? And as you see the list go out, when persons are worrying, when they are sick, you understand, they move to a new place and they don't know anyone, you understand, and so they start asking questions, and so they buck up on cult members and so forth, you understand, because they don't know anyone, and that's how they're most likely to buck up on a cult member. That cult member befriends them, you understand, and their first friend, they don't want to reject them either because they don't know anyone, so it's their first friend, you understand, and so they don't put up a wall, of course. And so as a friend, you'll want to hear what your friend have to say. If your friend invites you to a particular place, you'll want to go. These are the times when you are vulnerable. You go at places and you don't know anyone, you understand, you're vulnerable to get conned, you're vulnerable to get tricked. You understand, persons who are not street smart, who doesn't know how to think critically, you understand, these are persons that are vulnerable. You go through a death, you go through divorce, you understand, household issues, you understand, and the list goes on. When you're hurting, when you're in distress, you understand, when you're worrying, all of these negative emotions are the time when you're most vulnerable to these groups, because your brain go on a shutdown. You're not thinking, that something is lurking to actually engulf your mind, and basically trap you. You're not thinking about that at that time, you know. You understand? And so this is why I appreciate this book from the author. You understand? Michael Skobach. He was a cult member as well, and so he wrote this book, Stolen Mind, Understanding Cult. And for me, it's one of the best work on cults. It is very short and concise, I'm telling you, and it's on point. Right? Now that we know who are most vulnerable, what are we to do about it? Emotion is a good thing. You understand? But we are to learn not to let emotion suppress our thinking. Not to let emotion be the driving tools for our decision. You understand? And this is something that I tell people again and again, over and over again. That do not go. If your heart tell you to do this and your mind tell you to do something else, rest assured, work with your heart. Because the Bible says the heart is deceitful above all things and desperately wicked. Right? Jesus himself said, out of the heart are the issues of life. The Bible says out of the heart is the issues of life. You cannot trust your heart, you cannot trust emotions. You cannot trust when you're in these kind of things to make careful decisions. You have to wait until when you relax, clear your mind and think about things. You understand? Make comparisons if you have to. If you can go to this group, you understand, and you can get the same thing and less baggage, why not go to that group, get the same thing and less baggage with it? So what I'm encouraging you to do, you understand, religion is good. And I'm encouraging you to actually explore and to compare. You understand, before you decide in yourself, you're going to settle in a church and you're going to become a member of a church. This is the only way you can actually combat these type of groups. The only way you can combat these type of groups is if you actually do this. You understand? Now that being said, I end this video. I do hope that you enjoyed it. If you did, please like, comment where necessary, subscribe to my channel and click the bell icon so that you can receive notifications whenever I make new uploads. And last but not least, share this video with whom you know will benefit from an amazing video like this. Bye bye now.